Welcome to Pro Bull Talk, where it's all talk and no bull. Get ready to slide and ride.
All right, let's go, boys. Hustle. Come on now. Let's go. Woo. Lay down now. Go to him.
Hey guys, welcome back to the second episode to finish out the rest of the story with Allen Glanville. What a great story it is, and it's being brought to you by our great sponsors as well. BTO, Bull Teams Only, Dennis Davis Bucking Bulls, not a nicer guy in the bull business. You want in, get in. DesignTunnel Studios, as you can see, the studio's great. Everything's awesome. Got Hanging G Fly Systems with us, JB Cattle Company, and Cactus Rodeo. Go give them guys a like and a listen. And right now, get ready for episode 2 of Allen Glanville. We was talking the other day about people that was back in them day that are still married, and
That's
Billy,
right. He's one of them. He's one of them.
They're still together and still going.
I know why you're
Lonnie
still
and
married.
Joanne still going. Of course, me and Shauna are still there, but I don't know.
I know why
more.
you're still married.
Oh,
I've met your wife.
yeah.
She's tough. Hey, she's a tough little pistol now. I know her.
It takes one to keep me in line. I promise you.
I promise you, but I'm thankful that you have stayed together and that you've got a good family and that y'all are doing pretty good.
We're hanging out.
I know you've had your bumps in the road along with everybody else, but
Yep. Everybody,
you know, I mean, you were able, when you won your world championship, I told you this the other night, I'm not sure that won't the pinnacle of the PBR. That was the high water mark that year. It just seemed like it built up from 90, I guess it started in 94, but really 95 was the first real year of the PBR, the way I looked at it. The 94 year, they had a few little bull ridings.
Yeah, it wasn't really a full-blown tour, really.
I mean, they didn't go to any arenas. And, you know, when they first started, Randy Bernard, and I sat down, I did an interview with him, and he told me that they wanted to have 15 to 18 events. That was it. There won't be no more. That's all we're looking for. 15 to 18 events. That's it. Well, pretty soon.
26, 28. I think the most they had is 32 or 33 events.
And I used to say, does anybody care about the bull rider? That's too many events. I don't give a hoot who you're talking about. When you're talking about the quality of bulls that you were required to get on and go to all of them events, you were Superman at the end of that year. I don't care who you were.
Yeah, well, if you spread it out over a year, 26 events, that's 26 days out of the year.
Yeah.
But doing that in 6 months is crazy.
Yeah.
Hey, and two events a weekend. Don't forget that. Yeah. And a short goal.
Sometimes an event in the middle of the week.
Yeah.
And sometimes in the middle of the week. Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I was a part of it. I was there. I saw it. And I remember when I went to I would talk to Randy a lot, and I haven't seen him in years, but I still like Randy Bernard. He was a professional. He always represented the sport, I thought, pretty good. I wasn't a bull rider. I don't know the ins and outs and all that went on in the back room. I don't know. But what I saw out in the public was Randy did a good job of promoting the PBR.
I agree with that 100%.
And I told him, I said, you know, I come from NASCAR, and a guy that finishes last place, Randy, gets a paycheck. And I see these guys, if they don't finish in the top 5 or 6, they don't make no money. Mm-mm. He said, well, they don't have to pay any entry fees. I said, I know that. But I still think they ought to get some money. Mm-hmm. And next thing I know, they were getting $300-$400,
yep.
You know? Well, that might not sound like much.
Yeah. When I got out, it was like 600 and it was right at 600 or with take the taxes and stuff out. It was like $586 or something you got. And that helped out a lot because a lot of times, you know, you get cheaper flights with the PBR schedule. You knew a month or so ahead of where you was going to be, so you could get them cheaper flights, and then they give you deals on hotels. So you could get a flight from DFW to Charlotte for $250 round trip, and then you get your hotel room out there for $150. I mean, it almost paid for your whole trip, really.
Right.
Then if you went on top
that
of
was
it,
the PBR used to have a girl that did that. You remember that? You would call her and she would hook you up with everything.
Well, you call
Do
with
you
the
remember her?
hotel, Rita or
I can't remember her
I
name,
can't
but I
either.
would call her and she'd say, "What event you want to go to, Alan?" And I'd tell her, and she'd say, "Oh, okay, I'll call you in a couple of hours." She'd call me up and say, "All right, you're going to be at whatever car place to rent a car when you get there. You're going to fly on such and such flight. You're going to be in this hotel and this, that, and the other." But she took everything. I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it. All I had to do was just call her up and she had it all taken care of.
I didn't. We had to pay for our flights, but I lucked out. I had a travel agency sponsor me. You remember? It was Paula Head with Travel Time back in the day. They were out of Chillicothe,
That's who the
Missouri.
girl was. That's her. That was
And
her.
oh, that was
Paula.
her. Okay, yep, Paula.
Paula.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
she sponsored me, and she knew where I was going, and she just called and tell me when I was flying out, and tell me
Uh-huh.
where the host
Yeah.
hotel was, and I'd be.
But she was a sweetheart and she would just have everything taken care of.
Yep.
It was just like, hey, this is easy.
Mm-hmm.
But, for years I was welcomed into the arena. And then the latter part of the years, I was not so welcome. They didn't care if I was there or not, and like I said, I was working for Quarter Horse News. I would send them the article. We would get a 3-page ad article for the finals. We would get the finals ad with pictures. We would get the ABBI with pictures, and we get the Buck and Bull of the Year with pictures. Everything was, and I'd send it to them, and they'd never even reply. And I'd say, "Show me one person up here that's doing what I'm doing. Just show me one. I want to see one person that's doing what I'm doing for the PBR." They never would. They never even, never flinched. It didn't. I guess it just didn't mean anything. But I thought, you're getting exposed in Quarter Horse News by more people than all your magazines together.
Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah.
Now they don't even have any magazines, do
No.
they? Do they still have a magazine?
No, I don't think
that
they
I know
do.
of.
Not that I know of. You just go on their website and it's got there might be some articles on there, but they're more about stats or the more matter of fact. There's no stories or no nothing there. They hired Justin Felisko for a while, and he did a lot of their PR stuff and everything. And that guy was very good. He absolutely knew nothing about bull riding when he got there. He would be the first to tell you he didn't know nothing about it. But he wrote a lot of matter of fact articles, and it was very factual all the way through, but there was no story to it. There was nothing, no glamour or flash on it. And you would do that. You would put a personal touch to it. His is not any of his articles. I never read an article where he had that personal touch, that personal connection with the rider, the bull rider, or necessarily the event. He was basically a statistician that wrote articles, if you want to call it an article.
Yeah, I mean, he was being paid to do something and he did it.
Yeah.
He didn't have the heart in it.
Yeah.
The heart wasn't in it. I had the heart for it.
Well, I think
I
he
wanted
would have
to.
had. Honestly, I'm not cutting Justin at all. I think he would have, but I almost think that's the direction they wanted to go. They wanted to be more sports news or more ESPN. Bang, bang, bang. This is it, and we're out. They don't want the background story or the emotional touch to it or fling.
Well, see, that's what I specialized in. I wanted to tell the story. Like I used to go to ranches and take pictures of the bulls they had and listen to the story of how they got into the industry.
I know. I read a lot of your articles. I liked them.
I mean, I made some great friends. Jerry Lindley and I have been fast friends since I did an article on them 20 years ago. I mean, they invite me to their house, they're just good people. God knows I love them. They, but I did them. I did Lynn Rice. I did one on them. I did, I can't remember all of them now, but I mean, I went out and took pictures and went all through the programs and the bloodlines and what their achievements were.
You know what I liked about all that, Alan? What I liked about your stories when it was in ABBI was I didn't get to go to all their ranches and their setups and how they did things and what their place looked like and this and that. I knew them at the arena, but I didn't know them at home. and you brought their ranch to right here to my fingertips, and I could read. I'd look at the pictures and see what the ranch was. There even a couple of your pictures. I redesigned some of my pens because them guys had better pens than I did, and I wanted. I was like, that looks like it worked better right there. How about that? So
you don't know how much. You don't know how
Yeah.
much I saw what they were doing and did for myself.
yeah, yeah. So
And
you kind of
but
got
my
to take
God,
a trip to the
everybody
ranch.
would help you with anything. I mean, that was the camaraderie that was in the early parts of the ABBI was like unbelievable. I mean, everybody was working towards a goal. Nobody was, and then all of a sudden money started coming in, and the big boys started buying all the
The
bulls,
top
and
2%. It's all a story of the top 2%ers now. That's
yeah.
all it
Well, I
is.
remember Jerry Nelson. Jerry Nelson told me a story one time. He said, "I watch these classics y'all have, and when the classic season's over, I just open up my wallet and buy the bull. Because what is he going to do? Haul one bull somewhere? He ain't got nowhere to go with it." Now
I
today,
love
with
the
the
way
bull
Jerry
team
Nelson
thing
puts
that
that.
they oh, Jerry,
I
listen, the
love
first
that.
one, I remember I went to Byron Nelson's one time. I mean, Byron Nelson. I guess that's his name.
Byron Walker.
Byron Walker.
Yeah, Byron
Went to
Walker.
his event in Ennis, Texas,
Mm-hmm.
out in the open, hot, man.
Mm-hmm.
Anyhow, I walked in there, and he looked at me and said, "What do you want?" I said, "I'm here to take pictures of this event. My name's Allen Glanville with the American Bucking Bull. What's that supposed to mean to me?" I said, "Well, I don't know. I'm here to take pictures. Do you want your event in the magazine? Do you want pictures?" And Donnie Gay was sitting over there. And I'll never forget that sucker looked at me. He said, "Allen, if that bull don't buck, nobody gives a rat's food who his granddaddy was." I didn't understand it that day, but when I started raising them, I understood Donnie 100%.
Yeah. Yeah.
You go through all that breeding and all that numbers, and oh my gosh, this bull's going to be great. And he goes in and spits the bit. And like Monty Sanford told me one time, he said, "Allen, every one of us has been embarrassed to our knees, where we wish we could put a bag on our head and cut a couple of eyes in it where we could see and just walk out of there so nobody know who we were."
Yeah.
I
Jerry
said,
Nelson.
"Well, I don't feel so bad then."
Yeah, Jerry Nelson told me one time. He said because I was taking some bulls to his events like the Lafayette and Monroe and down there. He had some PBR events I'd take them to, and I was still riding at the time. And he told me I some of the bulls didn't do real good or something. Some of them did, some of them didn't. He said, "Let me tell you something." He said, "I've been putting on these things for a long time." He said, "When you take bulls to an event," he said, "there's two things you need to know. You need to know where the front door is, because there's going to be nights you won't strut out that front door." He said, "And you better know where the back door is, because there's nights you're going to try to crawl underneath that back door so you don't open it and they don't see you leaving. You want to crawl out with your tail
Don't
between
see
your
you
legs."
leave.
Yeah.
That's what that. And in
That's the
fact,
truth.
Lindell Hurst told me one time he wanted to flank his bull with the mask on so nobody knew who he was. He said if the bull bucked his ass off, he'd pull the mask off and let everybody know who he was.
Ta-da.
But that was the fun we used to have back in the day. We used to. It was all talk, man. We talked about programs and who was doing what, when, and where. The Roach family was in it big, and.
Mm-hmm.
I went out and took pictures of the bulls and stuff, that were doing real good. I had more pasture shots of great bulls than anybody had,
Yeah,
because
anybody can
I
get a
I,
picture
I
at the
actually made
events
the
on the
effort to
back
go out
door.
there and do it. I wanted to. I was trying to make the industry as big as it should be,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden it was like to have a big balloon blown up, and all of a sudden all the air just went out of it, and you're
Yeah.
standing there with a balloon that's all shriveled up in your hand. You think, what the heck happened? What happened?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if this is true or not. You may know, but do you notice today when they hold up their checks, there's no money on them?
Oh, I know. I seen that.
First place.
Yeah.
Do you know why they don't have money on them?
You tell me.
I was told they defaulted on some of those monies. They didn't have the money to
Well,
pay them.
that's
I
the
don't know
truth.
that. Be true.
There is definite truth behind that. I don't know that we want to get into that today. that's
I
probably
don't want to get
for
into it at
another.
all. It's just but I always felt like the
They got to
money made people want to be in the sport, not just hold up a check that says you won an event. They want to
Yeah.
see what they won.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
don't know, Cody. I mean, like you said, I wasn't on the board of directors. I wasn't never nothing. We got together. Now I will say this: Casey Cox and Monty Sanford and me and a couple other people did a 1-day seminar down at right outside of Pilot Point, and we rented an arena and put on a exhibition on how to handle and raise bucking bulls. I felt like it was a real step in the right direction,
Yeah.
and it drew a pretty good crowd. And we wrote an article on it and took pictures, but they showed people how to flank bulls, how to calm them down in the chutes, how to take a broom and sweep down their backs and down their sides and take rags and, everybody's tricks,
Yeah.
And if anybody had a suggestion, it was open. It was like, this is a forum thing. Let's get into it, and they'd come up and say, well, this is what I do. And this is what I do. Well, I felt like when that thing was over, everybody that attended had a different look about how to do things.
Well, they had
I may be wrong.
They had a new trick in their bag for sure.
Well, they showed too much flank, not enough flank, how to flank, how to work the bulls through the chutes. I mean, Cody, when they first started the ABBI, those bulls tried to kill everybody.
Well, sure.
They were wild as goats. I was at Duncan one time, and I wasn't going in the arena with them. I said, I ain't going in there. They're too quick for me. And I was sitting down there, and that bull come after me and hit the fence. And I went in the dirt, of course. I just jumped back. And I looked, and my chair was in the arena 2 feet that I was sitting on. And that bull had hit that fence and drove it right across. I thought, my word. But today, they buck, they go out the gate. Why?
Yep.
They've been trained.
They've been trained.
The people are spending the time to get it done right.
Yep.
I've been to events, and you have too, where they said, you got to get your bull the hell out of here. He's tore up everything in the back. They had one up at Duncan one time that moved the whole panels. And that back pen that what's his name would build back there was huge. And that bull had drove the whole panel 5 feet outside. He had just stuck his head down and started plowing.
Honestly,
and they told him, they took him over to some high school place and stuck him in an arena somewhere by himself.
I think that was my bull, honestly.
It might have been.
I think it
might have been.
I had one up there that I had never took to town or messed with. I had messed with him, and he was good at home, and I took him up there, and he did dismantle and run to a couple panels. I had to pay for 2 panels.
It was like 9 of us out there, and all 9 of us could not move the panels back. We could not move it back where it was. They had to bring a tractor up there and push it back. I thought, dang, that one bull, he was pissed off. I don't know.
Sounds like one
but I had another friend that had a bull one time. They said, you can bring him to the arena, run him down the chute, buck him, put him back in the pen, and get him out of here. That's how bad he was.
Yeah, put him on the trailer. We'll take him off the trailer, put him in the chute. When he's done bucking, he's going to go right down the alleyway and into the trailer, and you can park him out there in the parking lot.
That same guy says, Allen, he calls me, Allen, I got a heifer I bought from Page's sale. Could you keep it for a couple of days? I said, man, I guess so. Because I had pretty good sized back pins at my other place I had.
Yeah.
And so I said, yeah. So the guy shows up at like 10 o'clock at night. And I thought, what is he doing? But he did have lights on the back of his truck. And I was standing there in the aisleway, and I kind of walked down there. And he says, buddy, if I was you, I would not be where you are because this girl is hot. I said, okay. So I opened the gate and I got behind it. She got off that truck and she ran in that pen and I shut the gate behind her. She hit that, and it was a double W bow gate. She bent the bottom and broke her nose, bent the bottom of the bow gate and broke her nose. Blood is squirting out of both sides of her nose. And she tried to kill me with every breath she got. I would put water and food in there. First thing she did was send that water trough flying, feed strung everywhere. And I'm thinking, what have I got here? What have I got here? What have I? He was so nice. He left it there for a week, and she tried to kill me for a week every day. I went out there. She tried to kill me. I said, if I had this thing belonged to me, that pistol I got in my pocket would be drawn, and I think I'd put her in a happy hunting ground. Because I ain't never seen nothing as crazy as that cow was. Yeah. He called me up about a week later and said, she's eating out of my hand. I said, I'll bet you $1,000 to a nickel that ain't happening. Yeah. He wouldn't never show me no picture of it. Yeah. But anyhow, that's what I was doing. I was raising bulls. I was, trying to figure things out. And I was a member of the ABBI for, 10 years, I guess. Yeah. And raised cattle. At one time I had 25 head. That was way too much.
Don't they? They just seem to multiply.
Well, that's what Joe Merrick's son told me. He said, Allen, you're going to be just like the rest. You got pasture out there now. You get in the buck and bull business. It's going to be a dirt pen. Mm-hmm. I said, no, I won't do that. I looked out there. I got a dirt pen. I said, well, he was right. Yeah. They've eaten everything I got. They've eaten everything I got. I got nothing left. Yeah. But looking back over my career, we talked about the year you won the final of the championship that year. That short go at the PBR finals is one of them. I'm sure glad I was there. That was unbelievable night.
It was actually round 2. It was on a Friday night.
You're right. It wasn't a final. You're right. Exactly right. It was the ranked pin.
Ranked pin on Friday.
And I remember they brought me the day sheet, and I looked at it, and I told everybody in the major room, you'd be lucky if we see 7, 8, 5 or 6 rides tonight. This is a stacked deck. Mm-hmm. This is a stacked deck, and boy, did they prove me wrong. Oh my gosh, the boys came with their riding pants on, and I mean, it was a night to remember. 89, 90, 92, 93, 89, 87. I'm thinking, wow, I'm watching something happen here. Anybody that watched that event and did not like it, they will never like bull riding ever.
You can't sell it to them. You couldn't.
That was as exciting as it could have got.
Yeah.
And you were part of it, and you won the championship that year. Yeah. Yes, sir.
But I rode Copenhagen Zandy in that round and was 92.5 and placed, I believe, 6th.
I put a picture in a newspaper one time of you on Copenhagen Zandy, probably from that event. I sure did. That was one of the pictures.
Like 4 or 5 times, but that was probably it. Yeah, they
I don't know, but it was you were on Copenhagen Zandy, and but I'll tell you one thing, that year, that 99 year, Cody Hart was untouchable.
I don't know what I did.
He was untouchable.
Well, if we could bottle it up and sell it, we'd both be rich.
Well, I don't know. You'd be rich. I'd just still be saying, man, that's good.
I'd have you.
But that was a pleasure to watch. That was a pleasure to watch that year. That was a real pleasure. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed watching Mike Lee come from behind and win the finals. That
was good.
That was pretty good. The PBR had champagne and everything they were going to bring out and shoot in the air and all that stuff. And Mike Lee won it, and they told him to put the champagne up. That boy ain't going to drink none of it.
He ain't old enough.
He probably wasn't old enough. Mm-mm. But that was quite a night, too. He rode Mudslinger, and that was at Mudslinger's prime. It wasn't like he was riding him at the end of his career.
Yeah.
But that's like Promised Land. I did an article on Promised Land, and I went to Owen Washburn for the interview because I'd seen him ride him so many times, mm-hmm. And he said, let me tell you something. Promised Land was one of the best bulls in the pad. He said, now today, everybody wants to draw him because he's, gotten older and hurt some injuries and stuff. He said, but boy, I'm going to tell you what, when he was in his prime, them boys been dodging him. I promise you they'd have been dodging him. And I liked Old Promised Land. And I like Red Wolf. Red Wolf was a funny bull. When he got ridden, he would get so mad he'd make a lap around the arena trying to kill everybody in it. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you remember that. If he bucked you off, he would stand out there in the arena and just look around like, hey, did you just see what I did? But if he got ridden, he would get mad.
I'm trying to remember. It was at the finals one year, and I don't remember who he bucked off or whatever, but Red Wolf went to take his lap around the pen, or around the whole arena, and there was a judge standing down there, and after he bucked him off, the judge was looking down like this, and Red Wolf run by, and he had the great big horns, and he run by there and clipped that judge. Not really clipped him, smoked him, rolled him up, and it wound up breaking a couple ribs or something, and I can't remember the name of that judge.
Was that Cody Snyder? Was it Cody Snyder
at
Cody
the finals?
Snyder?
But I know Randy.
Smuts?
No, he was a bull rider, tall.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Randy Thornton.
I know who you're talking about.
Randy Thornton. He was
Thornton. Yeah, Randy Thornton.
Who would ever thought they had alternate judges at the finals? They had to bring in an alternate because Cody couldn't judge no more because he was wiped smooth out. They had to bring in an alternate judge.
I saw it.
That's how rough a sport we play.
I was on.
Got to have backup referees.
I was on the opposite side. I was at the opposite side of the arena, and I saw it out of the corner of my eye, and I went, "Holy cow!" And I went to yell. I yelled, but that's pretty good size arena, and you got all them people in there. Yeah. It was at the MGM.
MGM.
It was at the MGM.
Yeah, it smoked him, rolled him up.
Yeah, he completely steamrolled him. Mm-hmm. I was at Houston doing that. You remember that Houston rodeo they used to have at the I think Joel Osteen's mess is there now. That big arena there got three stories of parking lot underneath of it.
I don't know if it's not the Summit. I'm not sure.
It's the Summit. I think that's it. The Summit.
Okay.
And I was up on the fence because the bulls were running around, and then a bullfighter was talking to somebody, and I don't know who the bullfighter was. And I reached down and grabbed him and snatched him up, and he about took a swing at me. He said, "Get your blankety blank hands off me," till that bull flipped his foot. And he looked at me and went from wanting to whip me to hugging me. Thank you. I said, "Look, man, I was trying to help you out. It was a spur of the moment. It was like right there, and I had to do something." But he was about to get it. I mean, I was at Jerome Davis's one time, and the judge was talking to somebody in the crowd. And if you may have seen this before, had his hands up on the fence talking in the crowd, and the bull took off towards him. And I said, "Oh, dear God, he's going to kill that guy. He's going to hit him right in the back." And that bull hit about 5 feet beside him. And I thought, why didn't he hit him? But he didn't. The guy jumped out of his skin when it hit the fence.
Oh, I bet.
But he didn't hit the guy. It was a judge.
Huh.
Man, that was, back in the day, the judges were all in the arena,
Yeah.
I can remember running. I remember Judge run over me one time, but Red Wolf clipped me one time and threw my feet over the fence, and Gary Jensen was out there, and when he saw it, it was too late, and he just flattened against the fence, just flattened, and the bull went right past him. I went, and there's another one. I can't believe that bull didn't just hook him right in the middle of the arena. I told you about the time I got hurt down in Jerome Davis's event, and the bull hit me in the hip, and I thought it broke my leg. And I was telling Rob Smith about it. And he said, "Allen, the next time that happens, you just face that bull and you fake out to the arena like you go." And I said, "Rob, what if he don't take the fake? I ain't 25 years old."
Yeah.
No, I said, "No, I ain't doing that, Rob. No, you can forget that one." Hey, I used to tease him a lot, but you couldn't tease him much. He had a short fuse. And one night he got hit by the bull, and I mean the horn hit him right under the chin and flattened him out in the arena. I mean, he was cold out, just like a boxer,
Yeah.
And he asked me, he said, "Was I floundering out there? Was my feet flopping? Did I make a fool out of myself?" I said, "No, but let me tell you something, Rob." And I balled my fist up. I said, "Do you feel that hit?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "I got one just like it." And that sucker took a swing at me. I said, Rob, I'm only playing. Calm down, please.
I thought you was
Don't
going to
come
tell
in here
me.
on me.
I thought you was going to tell me that you told him you had to face up to him and just take a fake out to the middle of the arena.
Yeah, that would have been the answer. Yeah, telling me to go out there and make a move. I said, Rob, if he don't take the fake, I'm dead.
Yeah.
But anyhow,
Was it Rob that you
I
landed
see,
on?
Yeah, I landed on Rob in Albuquerque after I rode locomotive breath one time, and he throwed me out there, and Rob actually caught me, and then kind of let me down, and then locomotive breath just smoked him, and he's laying out in the arena. Oh my God! But I think I tripped him up too because my spur hung in his sock on his. Them tall socks covering all them pads and stuff. It hung on that, and I tripped him, and then, locomotive breath locomotive run over him. Just he was on the tracks, and it just mauled him up good. But Rob was always there. But so you was a cameraman. You went to cameraman. You was NASCAR cameraman. Rolled in there. Went to the ABBI. Now what do you do? What do you do now? What you got going on now?
I got me a little ranch. I got 6 mama cows. All of them are black. They're Angus, and I got a little bull I rent, and we just raise a few calves. That's what we're doing. I got almost 11-acre ranch out here in Boyd, Texas, right outside of Boyd, and just living life, having a good time. I really enjoy it. I've got most of the hard work behind me, but if you own a ranch, that there's always going to be work, which it's ongoing. It's just how bad is it going to be?
Yeah, never
it's just
ending.
how bad it's going to be. And if you got bucking bulls, it's how bad. Oh dear God, how bad was it? When they tear up a whole 100-foot of fence.
Then how bad's the neighbor?
Oh yeah, jumping fences and getting into everybody's mess. I had one bull that jumped the fence and tore the fence up. I fixed fence, and he wouldn't help me do anything, and I finally just sold him. And I thought I had all my cows bred, and God dang, every one of them open. I said, boy, didn't I mess up good? That's the way the game works sometimes. But no, that's what I'm doing now, just raising some cows and
hanging out.
And my little girls.
It's a good time to be raising cows or having calves.
Oh,
the way the market is, it's a good time.
When I was in the bucking bull business, what were we getting? 35 cents or 40 cents a pound? I mean, really?
Yeah.
You remember it? If you had a white and black cow, you might as well just, I don't know, shoot it in the field. I don't know.
To the slaughterhouse.
You were getting worse than a longhorn. And I guarantee the beef is better than the longhorn.
Oh, I guarantee it. Yeah.
But yet, boy, they just penalized us for everything we were on the cattle side, on the breed. But I'll tell you one thing, those crossed up mamas, you talk about good mamas. I wish my cows were good as mamas as those old crossbreds were, because boy, they took care of them babies.
Yeah.
They took care of them babies. I love to see that. You never knew what you were going to get. Were you going to get a black one, or you going to get a white, or you get an orange or red, all red? It was like
Christmas morning every time you went out there and you had a new baby. Which is it? What is it? Yeah.
Yeah, and we would get excited because we didn't know what color it was going to be. And you'd like Dale Lyons told me one time that Sports Machine. You remember he was kind of a calico thing. His daddy was CP1, which was pure white, and his mama was whiter than him. And he said, "There's Sports Machine. Hey, you figure that one out." I said, there was some milk cow in there somewhere, probably.
Some old Jersey.
I don't know. You come up with a calico looking bull, but he raised some pretty good bulls. He raised Palace Station Express and what was the other one he had? He had another one that was pretty big. I mean, Sports Machine was his biggest bull, I guess. Terry Williams, old Terry Williams. What does he do now? Is he still in the bucking bull business, Terry Williams?
The black one, Palace Station Express.
That's what it was, Palace Station Express.
That was,
and there was another one though.
You remember the picture where Chris is riding Palace Station Express, and they had all the gasoline out there for the flyer.
It was still out there burning, yeah.
And then that bull went out there and started kicking that dirt up, and the flames started coming up.
Flames come up,
yep.
How many times I've seen bull riders go through it and have to put the chaps out
Oh, that's several times. You dry them out at the end.
when they had the
Walking through
fire
there
going.
with your friends, it'll dry that leather out like Sonny gun. Yeah.
And I've seen many of them going down the thing, pulling the pant leg up. I mean, the chap leg up, patting their leg where the fringe is burning or something.
That's fact. Yeah.
Yeah, that Palace Station picture. Yeah, I remember that well.
Yeah.
In fact, I got a copy of it somewhere. I think Andy Watson took it. I did like that picture. Yeah. In fact, he died. That bull died about 5 miles from where I live right now.
I bet so.
Yep. Finished out his old career.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, so I know I'm sure you've photographed my dad before.
Who is it? What's your daddy's name?
Anyways, what was like your favorite picture that you took of him?
That's interesting. I took a whole lot of pictures of Cody. I mean, the year he won the world, good grief. I like that one of Andy, but I got the picture behind me that was in the Boston Globe of Cody. If you want to see that.
Yes, sir, I would.
I brought it up here. If I can get it where y'all can see it. Can you see it?
A little more to the left. Yeah, that picture's in my room.
Yep, hanging in the room.
That picture's hanging in my room.
Yep.
Well, I took that picture, and I'm pretty sure we took. Where did we take that picture? Was that it?
That was
that
would have been in 1999, first round of the PBR finals. That bull was CT2 Skeeter of Dan. I think Dan Russell was hauling him, or WFO maybe.
Yeah, he's like 86 or 87.
87.
Well, see. Well, there you go. There you go, Briar. You got a picture I took. How about that?
We got more than that at home.
I'm sure there's plenty at the house.
Yeah.
Hey, why don't you ask your daddy when he won the world champion, who was there for him? When he won his world championship, who was there for him, interviewing him?
Who interviewed you?
Allen Glanville.
Me.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Probably the only one, too.
Me.
And honestly,
you know where everybody else was? You know where everybody else was over there because Ty Murray won the finals.
Mm-hmm. I can remember when I walked out of the arena after because they did like a little.
Well, hang on. I've asked him this question several times. He's never really went into depth about it. He's always said, "Yeah, it's a big deal. I won the world title. They gave me this and they gave me that." And then I walked out of the arena. And I was like, "Was that it? Like you can't." Like everybody else,
they had an awards banquet back then.
Won a world title. They go into depth about it. He just never really went into depth about anything about him winning the world title. Just kind of like, yeah, I won it.
I was there. I saw it. Okay, I was there. It was one of the saddest things I believe I ever saw in the bull riding industry. Be honest with you, that was sad. That and Ejene Kaminhas when he won it.
Yeah, Edna.
They kind of did him the same way.
Well, they don't talk about him or Edna anymore.
Hey, and who was over there talking to Ejene with his little Brazilian flag wrapped around him? Me. I was talking to him. I was interviewing him, taking pictures.
Yeah. Well, I remember when they handed me the cup and I took the picture with my hands up and all that, and I'd walked out of the arena. You had been out there taking pictures, but somebody had turned, and I talked to them, and I turned around, and I remember you standing there because you had your sponsor shirt or whatever on and everything, had your credentials and your camera. And you shook my hand and told me good job, that you was proud of me.
I sure did.
I remember that day.
I mean,
I still remember that.
I mean, like I said, that year, good Lord have mercy, you owned the PBR.
But that was back then when everybody was family.
I guarantee it ain't a rider out there that will deny what I just said.
That was back when everybody was family in the PBR. Everybody was a family, and it was, we'd let people come in and whatever, but we was a family. And, I mean, I seen you every week. Every event, I seen you at every event, taking pictures, talking to us, whether it was for the story this week or maybe a story you do something later down the next month or whenever. You was always there gathering insight, intel, and everything, and I think they need more of that.
I had a funny story to tell you. We were out, you know how they used to put they put like a thing out in the arena, and they put the bull riders inside the cage, and the fans would come out and get autographs. You remember that?
Yeah.
Cody, you remember that?
Talking about they did what?
It was they put they had a big fence built inside the arena. They brought it, and everybody would come out the stands and get autographs.
Yep. I remember
Well,
that.
I was in there taking pictures of it. I used to take pictures of that because I thought somebody might want a picture of something, and I did it. It was just what I did. And this girl comes up and says, "I want your autograph." I said, "Ma'am, I'm not a bull rider. I'm a photographer. I'm just in taking pictures." She said, "I don't care. You're in that box with those bull riders, and I want your autograph." I said, No, I'm not going to do it. I don't remember who it was. One of the bull riders said, "Alan, just sign the thing, man. What difference it make?" I said, All right. So I wrote, "God bless you, Allen Glanville."
Yeah.
So thing was over. I was walking out there. Cody Lambert grabs me by the arm. "Did I see you out there signing autographs?" I said, "Oh, dear God." I said, "Clete, you ain't gonna believe it. The girl just wouldn't leave me alone. She wanted the autograph. She said I was in the arena. She wanted my autograph, but I did not say I was a bull rider." "Okay, just checking." I said, "I got caught. The first time something happened stupid and I get caught." That was funny, though. That was funny. I said, "God, I got an autograph." And she wanted my autograph. I said, "Whatever." I told you the first black 20X hat I ever got, a fan gave it to me. She was a member of the Resist All Relief Fund, and she was a gold member, platinum or whatever, and they gave you a cowboy hat. She asked me one time what was my hat size. I mean, people used to come in, the same people at the events, And this girl was from Maryland, and she came to probably a third of the events, like the old Rowdy Bunch. You remember them, Cody?
Yeah.
That bunch from south of Stephenville. It was about 8 or 10 of them.
Yeah.
They went to event after event. They would have food for us. You remember that, Cody?
I do.
You would come into the host hotel, and they would have sandwiches made, drinks, and finger foods and stuff. They'd say, "We know it's late and y'all ain't got nothing to eat, but here, get yourself something to eat." I'd say, "Man, it's pretty cool." I remember doing that at Oklahoma City one time. I remember sitting in there eating their food. They had made it up for us, but I bet you ain't got those kind of fans anymore. If they are, I don't know.
haven't been, and I'm not in that tight loop no more. I've been pushed out, kind of like you got pushed out, and it's all right. But we've had our career, and it's great. Maybe they got fans like that. I don't know. I don't know that I'll ever go back and see if they got them or not. But
this girl that went to my church in Virginia, she kept telling me she loved bull riding. She loved bull riding. She loved bull riding. And Wally Peterson was her favorite bull rider. She loved Wally Peterson. I said, "Well, I know Wally. Yeah, he's a pretty good guy." So I called up there and got her 2 tickets to the event. Her and her daddy came. She was about 16, maybe. Anyhow, they were up in the stands, and we were out there signing autographs. And she said, "Hey, Alan." She waved at me. I said, "Hey, sweetie." I walked over there and I saw Wally. I said, "Wally, this little girl has come all the way from Norfolk to come up here to see you. She's your number one fan." Wally ran over to the fence, climbed over the fence, went up in the crowd, put his arm around her, and said, "Take a good picture, Alan. I want to see it." I said, "You got it." And that little girl was so excited, she about jumped out of her skin. And I said, people just don't believe it. But another story that nobody will believe. Ty Murray had gotten hurt, and he had to qualify to get back into PBR. Believe it or not, he didn't get a free pass. He had to qualify. So he went to the Touring Pros, and we were in Hampton, Virginia. And I had seen this old guy that used to put on the rodeos. He was the guy that started it for us, and he gave us jobs and all, and he loved the sport of rodeo. And he told me, he said, "I hear that Ty Murray is going to be here tonight." I said, I saw him in the locker room. "Yeah, he's here." He said, "Man, I'd love to meet him." I said, "Let me see what I can do." Now, this is Ty Murray, Cody. I walked down there. I said, "Cody," Ty, I said, "I got a friend up here that got me in the business, really. I probably would have never be here today if it hadn't been for him getting me involved in rodeos and stuff back in Virginia, Beach." He said, "Well, let's go find him." I said, "Okay." Now we went up the steps, went up onto the concourse, and I found him. And I said, "Brian, come here." And he was probably 77, 78 years old at this time. And he saw Ty Murray, and he fell out. And I took a picture of him with his arm around him. and they smiling. And then the next, when I got the picture developed, I took it to Ty and had him autograph it and sent it to the guy. He wrote me a letter and said, "This is one of the highlights of my whole life, is this picture you sent me and the opportunity that you got me to meet Ty Murray." And I thought, if I don't do nothing else,
That's pretty good.
but that's what kind of things I like doing.
That was,
I like
that
to,
was early days. Good
I just
PBR
thought it was
there.
But I would tell that story and people would tell me that's a lie. He would never done that. He wouldn't go up there and do that.
Well, he didn't sign a lot of autographs, and he'd got fined a lot going around the arena and stuff. But I'm not saying he's a devil or anything like that. He did a lot of great things. So, he did. I'm glad he did that. And I don't know any bull rider that would.
I'm serious. He did it,
including him or anybody else. Really, nobody. They would all go ahead and do it. I've never met a rude bull rider that wouldn't. But
he was at Ty Murray rode Red Wolf at the Charlotte Finals one year and won the event. And the Red Wolf stepped on him and ripped his shirt from about above the elbow down, just ripped it about 2/3 off. Mm-hmm. And I walked back in the locker room and Ty looked at me and said, "You got a knife, Allen?" I said, "I always got a knife. I got my pants on. I got a knife." Yeah. He said, cut this thing off of me. And I cut it off and pulled it off. And I stuck it in my pocket. He said, "The heck you doing?" I said, "That belongs to me." "No, it don't either. I can't give that stuff away." I said, "Well, you gave that one away. I still got it." If that tells you anything, I still got it. Yeah, but this is what he did. And I'll never forget this either. I was saying, "Ty, that was a heck of a ride, man." I'll say, I don't know. That looked to me like it could have maybe been a little higher score. And one of them judges said, "Yeah, I guess I could have marked you a little higher." Ty looked at him and said, "Don't apologize to me for not being able to judge." I went, "Whoa." He didn't cut no slack. "Don't apologize for me for telling me you don't know how to judge." I went, "Oh man, I started something there."
Yeah.
But Ty actually told me he was going to retire before he retired. He came up to me and said, "I got something for you, Allen. I'm going to retire after this event, and I'll never come back. You're not going to see me crawl back on him trying to make a comeback. No, sir. When I make up my mind, it's over." And I said, "Yeah, right. Sure. I guarantee that's true." Next thing I know, he goes up after the event and said, "This is my last event. I'm retired." So, oh, boy.
Yep.
But anyhow.
Hey, a bull rider knows when
no,
it's
Cody,
time to go.
I was going to tell you, son, I probably have known your daddy, I'm going to say 27 years, maybe. I told your daddy that May, I will have known JW 30 years. I met JW 30 years ago.
Yeah.
But I think I met your daddy, I'm going to say it's 27, 28 years ago. I can't remember, but I know it's been a good while.
Yeah.
He was kind of skinny back when I knew him. What's happened?
Yeah, well, you was still old then too, so.
I was old then.
Hey,
what you didn't realize was when I went to the first PBR event, I was 58 years old.
Wow.
But because I'm so young looking and so debonair, nobody knew it. And the fact that I dyed my beard.
Yeah, you ain't dyed nothing.
But boy, I tell you one thing, I had a lot of fun. And, I met people from all over the country. There was I heard one of your guests one time said he could go anywhere in the country and spend the night.
Yep.
I could have done that one time.
Yep. You could still
with the ABBI, knowing all them contractors and bull riders that I knew. Yep. I probably could have done that.
I bet you still could.
It was sad. Well, I mean, I don't, but a lot of them people are dead now, good God.
They ain't got the same phone number no more.
That's true. But one of the saddest things I saw, Cody, was some of those bull riders that ruined their career. And you could see the talent was there. I mean, God knows these boys had talent. And because of bad choices.
Yeah. It just kind of
I ain't going to name no names. I ain't naming names because it don't matter. But it was sad to see the talent that was there wasted because of peer pressure and buddy stuff, and
Yep. That's just
you
a lot
remember
of it.
you remember
Lot of
when
it.
Budweiser.
Mm-hmm.
You remember when Budweiser was sponsoring the events?
Bud Light, yes, sir.
Every trash can in every room was full of beer.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of drinking was going on, that's
Eyes
for sure.
down. That was the good old days.
I remember
Now it's become a
when the old boy
problem
got.
because the young guys can't handle the pressure.
I know that. I know that. And there was some of that back then, though, too. Also, Cody, there was people that couldn't handle it.
Absolutely.
And we saw them fail because of the pressure.
Sure.
And
That's in every
but I
sport,
saw
though.
a lot of injuries. Oh yeah. Look at Hamilton, the baseball player.
Mm-hmm.
He was probably the best talented baseball player that's ever been, probably.
Chad
And
Hamilton.
because of drugs, and I'm talking about heavy drugs, he
heavy.
couldn't even.
Yeah.
He was miss games and disappear, and he can't even be alone today.
Yeah.
He's got to have a constant companion with him, and he'll go off and get drugged up. It's so sad.
That is sad.
What a talent that was.
Well,
but,
I'll tell you, I tell you something that is sad. We're gonna have to cut this off. We've got to stop. We're at 100 minutes and we are running deep. And I tell you, like I said, we could go on and on and on and on and fill all the reels, run the batteries dead on the cameras and everything. But man, we've got to go. We've got some other guests coming in, and but Allen, I'd love to get you back on again sometime because I know you're just full of daggum stories. And
I think I've shot the wad. I think I'm done. I had a good time, believe me. And it was a privilege to be on here and to be recognized, because I think at times I didn't think anybody knew if I was even there half the time. I just, well, I did what I could for the sport, and I just look back and think, wow.
Yeah.
Almost why, just sad, because I tried to help the sport. I really did. I put my heart into making a difference.
Well, I know you made a difference.
Did I?
I know for a fact you made a difference. For sure.
I don't know if I did or not. I felt like I tried. I mean, God, I bet you what. If I never went to another bull riding, I've had my share of it. I can promise you that. I have been down dirt roads and cornfields. And, we did an event one time in Winter, South Dakota, and we had one power line. And every time I would pop my lights, the announcer would be talking, and the next rider's going to be, and he'll be right. And it said, what happened? And every time I shot my lights, it would cut him off. Well, he was mad at me. I can tell you that.
Well, don't get mad at me because I gotta cut you off. We gotta cut her down. Like I said, we'll get you back in there again. But man, I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you.
We had a lot of fun.
We sure did.
It was a lot of fun. I'm glad I pulled it off, because I wasn't sure I was even gonna get the thing cut off.
Yeah.
But
and you got my number. We'll stay in touch for sure. And actually, I'll call you. Actually, I'm gonna call you this afternoon. I got a question to ask you. So, but anyway, we'll get to that. We'll get that this afternoon. Anyhow, guys, what a great episode. This thing has went on, and Allen could go on and on. I could go on with him, just sitting there listening to him. I love it. And if y'all like this episode, be sure to go and like our sponsors, BTO, Bull Teams Only. Awesome event, hottest ticket in town. Dennis Davis, nicest guy, getting the bull business. DesignTunnel. You're watching this whole thing because of DesignTunnel. All the graphics, everything you see here, these guys do right here. They're a great team. Hanging G Fly Systems, we appreciate you guys. Y'all keep the flies out of here and everything. JB Cattle Company, need anything hauled, moved, or whatever, I bet you that's your guy. And if you want to put one on, call Cactus Rodeo. They'll help you out. Till next time, guys. We'll see you then.